So welcome back. We are learning the Nefesh HaHaim Sha'ar Dalet. We're already in chapter 32. And he starts, as he often does, sort of in the middle of something, Hakol mitama now. So I'm reviewing one paragraph. B'kein Amar Sham umachsharto lios tzadik chosid lashon hechsher hagala. We're talking about the power of Talmud Torah, what learning Torah does for you, and it prepares you to be a tzaddik and a chassid. And this word machsharto, it's machshir you, like a rabbi, mashkiach would be machshir a dish or a pot. Lashon hechsher v'hagala. Belibun mipigol giule hara shahayabo tchila. It gets the bad out of you. The Moshe Kasav alo kod dvarai ka'esh nu mashem shehi malabanto umachsharto. The Torah is like fire. So it's like you're putting your soul in fire when you learn Torah, and it burns off the bad stuff, and so it purifies you. And there's more like that in Tanchuma, Shater mitaheret liban v'kliyaton shel Talmidei Chachamim. It purifies the heart and the kidneys of the Talmidei Chachamim. Ve'akol mitamanal. It's all for the reason that he's told us, Sheshorsha ha'elyon shel Torah Kedosha. The supernal source of the Torah is higher than everything else that exists. It's from the really close to Kucha Brichu Atzmo. There's this world we've talked about a little bit called the Olam HaMalbush, and it's like where the Aleph base was created, and that's where the Torah is from. It's a really high place, a high universe. And so it has the power to purify. So we're going to see more about that. Va'inyan hu k'mo shekosiv in Sha'ar Aleph, Perak 20. Tam amarim zal shekol ha'oina men yesh me'rabba b'kol koichoi. Moichlin lo al kol avonotav, Ayin Sham. When you say yesh me'rabba, it has this great power to atone for all your sins. Keina inyan shal yedei esek ha'torah kara'oi. So too, when you mamish delve into learning, it has the power to purify you. It raises up over everything else in your life. It arouses the upper root of the Torah on your soul. Shefat or elyon v'kedusha al oilamois kulam. So it has impact on everything coming down from the highest places in the universe. And so all the bad stuff you've done and the improper intent and averas, all the tumah and the pollution, the spiritual pollution, these flames of fire of the Torah that you're learning has the power to burn them all away. Mamish like libun. You know, if you have, let's say you use the skewer on your grill or something, and you want to kasher it for Pesach or got treif, whatever. So you put it in really hot fire and you make libun until sparks fly, and it purifies it because it burns out all the dross, all the bad stuff. So the Torah has that power to burn away all the bad.
It's not. He's not saying. Or at least specifically Beferis, he's not saying that it burns away your Averot. It sounds like he's saying it burns away that poison spirit that's inside of you that may cause you to do those things. But I don't think we really believe, and I don't think the cheshbon is, I could steal from my neighbor or covet his wife, but if I learn Torah, it's like the 3 Hail Marys. And you're forgiven. It doesn't wash it away, as far as I know.
Well, you mentioned
you can't trade them off like that.
Okay, you can't trade mitzvahs and
I hope you can.
No, you're right. There's no barter. And also you mentioned like bein adam lechavero things like stealing. So you for sure got to give the money back. You can't learn Torah or even get stuck with the money to atone for that. So yes. He's saying that the flames of fire of the Torah has the power to annihilate the tumah and the pollution that you cause with your bad deeds throughout the worlds. liskadesh v'laha'ir od, increasing illumination b'kedusha elyoina, liskasher yachad echad b'chaveiro. Okay, it does connect you up. V'kol ha'pegamim mismalim, v'kol ha'kilkulim nitaknim, v'kol ha'harisois misbanim, v'asimcha v'ched v'sayuserta, v'or elyon misrabe v'kol oilamois. It does have a really healing power to rectify all the bad stuff because of the joy and the light that is created through learning Torah. So you're right, Shimon, you can't barter and you can't do Averas and say, I'll learn Torah to get rid of them. But there is something called Shuvas HaMishkal, which is if a person did have years of Averas or something like that, or innumerable sins. And so, yes, you got to try to make amends to anybody that you hurt, right? That's part of the 12 steps of accepting responsibility for all the things you messed up and owning up to it. But then how are you going to really rectify? So by learning a lot of Torah or doing a lot of mitzvahs, but here we're talking about dafka, the skula of limud Torah, that the Torah, because it's unique amongst the other mitzvahs, it has this power to bring so much goodness and light and purity. And he's really talking about like divine fire that is a purifying agent. So it fills in the gaps and the blemishes. They're all repaired, and all that was destroyed is rebuilt. Joy and great delight, and the supernal light expands in all the worlds. And we're not saying lechatchila you could do Averos because of that either, but we're talking about the power of Torah to atone.
Well, it sounds like it's addressing someone who's really reverse direction,
Yeah, fair.
as opposed to someone who's has an ongoing pigum that he thinks he can skate along with.
Yeah, good. V'gam ki yadua shekol davar eino nitkan ele b'shorsho elyon. In order to truly fix things, you can't just deal with symptoms. You have to go at the root cause. V'kol echad mi Yisrael shoyrish ha'elyon shel nishmaso hu me'ois achas me'atorah hakdosha. Where is your soul really rooted? Where is it from? The answer, a certain letter in the Torah. V'lachein kol pigmei nefesh hachotat nitaknim v'nimtakim b'shorsham b'Torah kadosha ha'yidei ha'esik ba karaoi. The Vilna Gaon had certain psukim that he thought the Shorish Neshama was from those psukim, those oisiois. I actually have a few ideas about myself. The parsha that I got from my Ufrov had my name in it, Yoshua Malevav, which was like a remez to the completion of my soul in marriage and the context of the pasuk. I have another pasuk that I relate really deeply to and also think that I'm connected to it. So it's a spiritual thing about believing that our shayrish of our neshama is in a letter in the Torah. And so by learning Torah bichlal and those psukim bifrat, but the whole aleph base of learning Torah has this power of rectification because that's where our soul really stems from. Oh, Kamoshe Kosev, Teres Hashem Tmima, Meshivas Nefesh. Sha'af im kvar nichrisa hanefesh mishorsha. So this is a beautiful idea because he's talking now about kares. So, there's not that many Averis that have kares, but there are a number of ones that people might do. Chilul Shabbos, B'mezid, Boil Nida, Achilas B'Yom Kippur, the other arayas. So a person may have done an Isser Kares. And how can you rectify that? So he's now talking about it. That even if a person had done Kares, and so the Nefesh got a little bit cut off or damaged, chas v'shalom. V'teired ployim be'imke mitzulois hara, chas v'shalom. So the Nefesh has been thrown down into a very dark place. HaTorah kadosha, she'oisek, ba hi mekima umotzia mimazgerim, umeshiva ota liskasher kebatchila, ubiyitaron or hakdosha. So there's this plan, this means of reconnecting. Like tshuva, this is sort of a specific understanding of how tshuva works, where we've talked about how the soul is like this conduit that comes down from the heavens, from the Kisei HaKavod into each one of us. And when you do an Isser Kares, like you eat a Kazayas Chalev, it cuts off part of the flow of energy, of spirituality coming down to you. But now we're learning that if you learn a lot of Torah, you can repair the connection, you can mend the rope of your soul. So that's a very beautiful and powerful idea. Says Mashakasav Beperek Hamadetayin is Tanya Rabbi Bana Oimer Kala Oisik Beter Lishma. Toiraso Naseslo Sam Chayim. The Torah becomes a panacea. It becomes the Sam of life. Shenemar Eitz Chayim Hilam Achazikim Ba. Oimer Ki Moitze Moitzea Moitze Chayim. Amru B'Mechilta Matam Elomer Kani Hashem Roif Echa. Amru LeKadosh Baruch Hu LeMoshe Amor Lahem LeYisrael. Torah shenatati lachem, refuah hi lachem, chayim hi lachem, shenamar ki chayim heim lemotzaehem. So the power of the Torah as a refuah, a spiritual refuah, it is the taste of life more than Coca-Cola. V'lachein tiknu arishonim zal nusach havidui. We are going to say vidui and Elul and not in Rosh Hashanah, but in Yom Kippur, asar s'mei tshuva, nusach havidi ashamnu bagadnu. Alpi Seder Hachav Beis Oisiois. It has the 12 letters of the Aleph base, the 22 letters, I'm sorry. Kidei le'oirer shoyrer she'elyon shel nafsho asher hi mekusheret v'nechezet v'torah kadosh l'tara u'lekadsha. So that's why the Vidoi is constructed from the 22 letters of the Aleph base, because that's where the shorish of our neshama is, up in the letters of the Aleph base. The kol oid she'adam kashur v'davuk b'toiraso yizbarach u'be'avasa yishketamid afi ta'ir elav u'mishamarto b'kol dracha v'inyanav shel lo yipol b'reshes ha'yetzer chas v'shalom. The Torah helps you in your battle against the Yetzer Hara. We were learning this morning Parshas Kitetse L'Milchama Aloivecha. It's talking about the battle against your Yetzer Hara. And here we're learning that the Torah Kedosha helps you in the battle against your Yetzer Hara. Ubemidrash Tehillim b'mizmor Kuf Yotes. Belibi tzafanti imrasecha leman lo echeteh. L'cheina Yetzer Hara shoylet ala Torah. Umisha Torah belibo ein Yetzer Hara shoylet bo v'lo nogea bo. So, I mean, I have not necessarily experienced that degree of power of overcoming the Yetzer Hara, but maybe I haven't been oisek v'Torah lishma or deeply enough. But there is a power of Torah. I guess there is definitely a positive energy that you get when you're learning, and that helps one overcome the Yetzer Hara. You're involved in good things, powerful things, constructive things, and so that helps you overcome your Yetzer Hara. If you are involved in learning and thinking and learning, and you put the Torah on your heart, Mavirin mimenu asara dvarim kashim. It takes away 10 hard things. What are they? Hirhure aveira, hirhure cherev, hirhure shtus, hirhure Yetzer Hara, hirhure znus, hirhure ishara, hirhure avodas kochavim, hirhure ol basar v'dam, hirhure dvarim betelem. So really great skula of noisen divrei Torah alibo. If you really put the Torah on your heart, it helps get rid of anxiety, all types of anxiety about different things. Okay, we shouldn't know about an evil wife. Anxiety about idolatry, mortality, and wasting time. Wow. Mortality. That's a funny translation. I would have said hirhure ol basar v'dam. That's like your boss. Somebody has power over you. And so if you put the Torah on your heart, the Torah helps you overcome. I want to share a word I learned, rumination, like a bad psychological process of getting fixed in a certain bad loop of thinking the same bad thoughts. Usually they're associated with anxiety, or you're worried about something and you keep thinking about it and going through the same loops. and it can lead to depression or whatever bad things. So rumination is like not a constructive thought process. And if you're able to put the Torah on your heart, and instead of ruminating in this destructive loop of worry or anxiety, and instead you're able to be oisik b'Torah, and to think about Torah, and to be mechadish chidushay Torah, and really delve into the Torah, so that for sure is going to help you overcome all these bad thought processes. Umalbashto anava v'yiras Hashem al panav. The Torah dresses you with anava, humility, and yiras Hashem al panav v'chol mida nechoina, and all sorts of good midos. Ve'eno misyare mipituya yetzahara. You won't be overcome with the temptations of the yetzahara. Vinyane hanoisa oilam etanugoisav, for various pleasures of this world. Ki yitzro masur biyado l'kol asher yachmo tzi'anu. You'll be able to have power over yetzahara. Uba'atzatat tencheu v'tamideu b'keren oira. Val kol drachav nagaor atoira. Ad shegam kol inyane zeh ha'oilam. Ein etzlo be'inyan toiv b'mido mishkal k'ra'oi. It will help you balance the permitted pleasures of this world, right? We all know that the Torah allows the pleasures of this world, let's call it basar v'yayin, and various physical pleasures that are permitted. And so, but you could become, the Ramban talks about a menuvel b'reshus Torah, a real Baal Taiva, and someone who Taiva rules over you. And so balancing Tanugei Olam Hazeh with Kedusha Torah, the Torah helps to do that. If you get a geschmack in learning, if you appreciate the beauty of Talmud Torah, so that it helps to be able to use this world in a pleasurable and pleasant way without making it your master, without being subjugated to pleasures of the body. Kimamaram zal v'samtem. It says v'samtem divrei Torah, and Chazal Darshan Kedushin, the word v'samtem v'samtam. Nimshala Torah kisam chayim. The Torah is a panacea. It cures all wounds. Mashal le'adam shehikes benoi maka gedoyla. Somebody, I don't know why he beat his son, maybe punished him or something, but he gave him a real big smack. And the son has a wound. Ve'heniach lo ritia al makaso. But he put a medicated bandage on the wound. And he tells his son, Va'amar lo b'ni, kol zman sheritia zu al makatcha, echol ma shanatcha, shtei ma shanatcha, ve'ein ata misyare. He tells his son, if you keep the bandage on, then you can eat whatever you want and drink whatever you want and do whatever you want and everything will be fine. But if you take off the bandage, it's going to get infected. Imata mavir hareu maila numi, infection. Kach Omer HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Banai, my children, Barati Yetzahara, you have a Yetzahara. Barati lo Torah, Tavlin, but I created the Torah. You can use the Torah as a bandage, as a means of allowing yourself to indulge in a permissible manner, b'mida mishkal b'minyan, in an appropriate amount of the pleasures of this world. Imatem oiskim b'Torah, einatam nimsarim biyado. You won't become subjugated to the Yetzer Hara. Shenemar haloim teitiv se'es. The Torah will raise you up. But if even though you're a frum Jew, but you don't learn Torah, so you become very physical, and you can become really subjugated, and you become a prisoner of your taivas. Atem nimsarim biyado shenemar lepetach hatas roivetz. So that's a reality, I think, that's important to keep one's connection to learning in order to balance the pull of the Yetzer Hara. So there's a Haggah here. Let's take a look at it, an annotation from the author. V'yesh lomer al derech drash. Haksav v'aluchois maise elokim heima v'amichtav michtav elokim hu charus al aluchois. talking about the tablets of the covenant, the Luchot Tabrit, and they're the work of God. And it says that Charus ala Luchos, and we darshan al tikri Charus ele Cherus. There's freedom on the Luchos Abris, that when the Jews received the Luchos Harishonos, they were free from everything. They would have been free from shiabud of other nations. They would have been free even from mortality. They would have reached a level of immortality like Adam and Chava had prior to the Chet. So what does he say here? Inyan ke'ein shekasav v'chasid halutzato. Okay, the Ramchal in Mesilas Yesharim, b'ma'amaram zal hanal barati etzahara barati lo Torah tavlin shekamo be'inyan refuas haguf she'aroife noisen lachoyle tavlin memuzag mikama mine samanim v'asavim. So the pharmacist used to take the mortar and pestle and used to mix up the various grasses and the various ingredients and make you a potion, something, maybe a salve that you would rub on your wound. Ve'akol b'mida mishkal b'dikduk atzum k'fi hanitzrach le'inyan achoili hayadua la'rofeh. And the doctor had prescribed this medicine in very specific degree of what are the components of the healing. Ha'im yale al das achoyle shu yaselo l'refuas cholyo tavlin acher v'muzag misamanim v'asavim acherim k'fi shetala b'yado mipesli v'lo yavin. The doctor prescribed a particular medicine. You can't just take a different medicine or a different quantity. You got to follow the prescription. Halo aroive hu ayodea inyan cholyo yodea tiv'ei hasimanim v'asavim hu ayodea eze simanim v'asavim anitzrachim l'tevech cholyo v'shir midasam u'mishkalam. So the doctor knows exactly what you need. Kach Amar Huyid Baruch Shmo. That's what Hashem is saying here. Al tidamu benafshechem lihimalet mepituyei hayetzer vinyanav betachbulois vinyanim asher tivcharu leatzmechem. You have a problem with the Yetzer Hara. Don't think that you have a different prescription to overcome it. I'm giving you the prescription. Kefi dimyonechem alo anoichi sheberate Yetzer Hara. I know this malady. I know the Yetzer Hara, and I'm telling you what the prescription is. Anoichi berasi neged Torah tavlin. V'samedechai l'refuas cholios inyanav v'teida shelevada esek b'talmud Torah ein shum tachbula acheret l'zeh. So this is Reb Chaim Volozhin saying you mamish need Talmud Torah to fight your Yetzer Hara. And that's the pshat. Ve'aluchois mais elokim ema. Hema luchois halev hachomed. These luchois that we're talking about is the heart, the covetous heart. Ke'inyan kitzva maluach libecha. Hu yizbarach shmo asa'am. God made them. V'hu hayodea inyan yitzricha hanatua belibcha ve'amichtav michtav elokim hu. Sheneged zeh hu anoisen lecha inyan esek haTorah. The kasvam malachokikam aluchos libecha lihimalet al yada minyanei yetzer. This is the one and only prescription. You got to learn Torah. V'lazot teda she'ein lecha ben choyrin minyanei yetzer alamisha oisek b'talmud Torah v'lo shum tachbula acheret zulata. Okay, so Torah is the answer. K'mo shepirshu zal b'salechecha tanche oischa b'olam hazeh. Uvemishle rabta ashrei adam shekana lo Torah lama shehi mishamra oiso miderech ra nichsi besalechecha v'kein hi b'vayikra rabba ki hi miyasheret umechavenet et libo ad asher yeh levavo shalem im elokav v'ne'emana et kel rucho la'avdo yizbarach v'chol levavo b'shnei yitzarav. I would just comment that in our world today, the zeitgeist, the cultural zeitgeist, the world of intellectuals has gone astray more than other places, right? that there are really smart people on the college campuses, the professors and the intellectuals, like this privileged class, and they're totally confused. They've embraced some really dangerous ideas. And you sort of wonder, where does that come from? So part of what we're seeing here is that just the fact that people are smart, intellectual, pursuing, like we know even at the Wannsee conference, the final solution, the murder of the Jews, half the people there were doctors. The Nazis, there was a lot of intellectuals who embraced Nazism. Today, the intellectuals are on the other side of far leftism. But my point is that intelligence is not a guard against the Yetzer Hara, but Talmud Torah is. So you gotta challenge yourself and putting yourself up, looking at yourself from the lens of the Torah, and being mevato your ratzon to the ratzon of God as expressed in the Torah. This is something that helps you overcome your own Yetzer Hara and getting confused about stuff and going down a wrong intellectual pathway. Whereas other intellectual or academic disciplines don't necessarily have that power. It's something I would say really unique. And this is what Chazal say, Chochma begoyim tamin. There's a lot of wisdom in the goyim, and particularly scientific wisdom and technological wisdom, but even sometimes in the social sciences. But Torah begoyim al tamin. They don't have this skula, this blessing and power of the Torah to help you overcome your Yetzer Hara. So there's a lot of nonsense and badness that has invaded the world of the intellectuals, unfortunately. כמו שכתוב בכמה דחגיגה, דברי חכמים כדרבanois, למה נמשלו דברי תורה לדרבן. Darban is how you keep the animal walking straight. מה דרבן זה מכוון את הפרה לתלמיה, it keeps the cow walking down the furrow, the straight and narrow path. להביא חיים לאוילם, so that the cow does the plowing. Af divrei Torah mechuvanim lev lomdehem bidarkei misa l'darkei chayim. So the learning of Torah it focuses the heart of the learners from mortality and selfishness to a path of eternal life. Ken amru b'mamid baraba b'tanchuma, etc. Ki ein trufa b'takana. אחרת באוילם כלל ינצל מרשת יצרו אשר פרש לרגליו תמיד ללכתו ולהפילו עד שעול תכלית למיסו מיסס אוילם חס ושלום. There's no other remedy or rectification על ידי עסק התורה הקדושה אשר אז נקרא איש חי שהוא דבוק על ידה בחלקו בחיי אוילם האמיתים כי היא חייך. ואמרו רז"ל מה דכסיב ותעשה אדם כדגי hayam, ma dagim shebayam, fish in the ocean. Keven sheporshim min hamayim miyad mesim. Af bnei adam keven sheporshim min haTorah miyad mesim. If you leave behind Talmud Torah, you'll be lost. You'll be dead. Kain heshivu b'kiva lepapus. Right? He said, he gave him a mashal, like the fox who says to the fish, "Hey fish, why don't you get out of the water and I'll help you out there." And the fish says, "Are you kidding? I'm in danger in the water from the nets of the fishermen. But if I leave the water, I'll for sure die." So that's what Rabbi Kiva told Papus, that we're having a hard time against the Romans, but if we leave the Torah, we're for sure goners. We see it, unfortunately, in America today, American Jewry, the people who have left the Torah, very, very short half-life for their Yiddishkeit, maybe one generation, whatever. Intermarriage over 70% in the non-Orthodox community. So Yiddishkeit doesn't last without limud Torah. So b'makom chayosenu kach, if we leave the waters of Torah, we'll for sure die. Manuni yama chiyusan b'maya, the fish live in the water. Af tamid chachamim mari masnisin chiyusayu b'oraisa, the life of the Talmid Chacham is in the Torah. V'isparshim mina miyad mesim. Tanchuma. כי חיים הם למוצאיהם, כל מי שמויצא דברי תורה חיים הוא מויצא, ולכן נאמר, כי חיים הם למוצאיהם. ובזוהר, זכחו לכהן ישראל, דאורייסא אוילף לו אורך הדקות שבריחו, Fortunate are the Jewish people. The Torah teaches us the ways of God. Vada ksiv Torah Hashem tmima zakach chulkei mandi ishtadu beraisa lo yisparish mina de kol mandi yisparish miraisa afilu shaita chada. If you leave the Torah even for a short time, kam yisparish michayda almad yitziki chayecha siv oirech yamim v'shnois chayim v'shalom yosifu lach. It's important to stay connected to the Torah always. And Zaka Chulkeon the Yisrael Kuchabrichu Yisraibu V'yoyin Lahona Raisa the Kshot. The Torah is a tree of life, a tree of truth. Ilana Dechai, the Bei Achid Barnash, Yaris Chayin L'Chai Alma V'Chaim L'Alma Da'asi, this world and the world to come. The Kol Mandi Shtada V'Raisa V'Achid Ba, Eis L'Chayin V'Achid B'Chayin. It's a life. The Kolman the Shavik Mili Deraisa, the Sparish Mideraisa, Kilo Sparish Michayim. Leaving the Torah is like leaving life. Begin the He Chayim, the Kol Mili Chayim, Arad Ksiki Chayim Heim, Ksiv refers to Fela Sharecha. The Torah is healing and Chayim. Okay, we did it. We learned Paraklamet base. The Torah gives us life, it gives us healing, it rectifies the wrongs, it gives us power to overcome our Yetzer Hara. So Halavai, Baruch Hashem, we're people of learning. We love to learn. We recognize the power of the Torah to inspire us and to raise us up. And we don't get caught in our own ruminations and our own wrong ideas, but we ask ourselves, what does the Torah say? How can I learn in the Torah? What is the way of God? So there's great power in Talmud Torah. Baruch Hashem, we're happy to share that together. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. Have a real good week. I'll see you next week, Bez Hashem.
Sha'ar, Sha'ar.
Take care. Call to
Yeah, I don't know what my status will be next week, so.
I'll call me Sha'ar.